Hello everybody and welcome to Beyond the Game. Always wondered how to survive when the world is covered in a new ice age? Well, with Impact Winter we can. Let's see if it's any good, shall we? The game takes place in a semi-apocalyptic world where everything is covered in a thick layer of snow after an asteroid hit the Earth. The near destroyed buildings you come across do look decent on the outside and they do their job just fine here. On the inside of the buildings it looks a lot better. The look of a plundered home looks good and chaotic, plus the flashlight of your robot friend shining on you in the dark buildings looks really good. Shadows in particular look really great here. You spend most of your time however outside walking through the snow and you will leave a trail of flat snow behind yourself. Occasionally however, the trail was following a different path than mine and that was a little bit awkward. The character models is something I'm not happy with. They went for a semi-realistic look but with a cartoony style and it doesn't match the rest of the game. Also, the animation of walking looks stiff and doesn't look good at all. Now comes the worst part. The game runs pretty poorly with a lot of frame skips and occasional frame drops. Loading times here are terrible. As soon as you leave a building, you're greeted with a 30 seconds loading screen. Go back inside a building, another 30 seconds loading screen. You will go in and out of buildings a lot here, so it becomes really tedious. The user interface isn't the best I've seen either and everything looks a little bit scrambled in the menus. But I guess over time you will get used to that eventually. Now let's talk about the sound and voice acting. When you first start up the game, the dark late 80s early 90s piano music sets the tone just right here and it's pretty good to listen to. However, there aren't many different tracks and listening over and over to the same ones becomes boring rather quickly. The sound of the cold strong wind when outside is decent and so is the walking sound, but it's nothing special. The shots fired by rifles and bows sounds a little bit monotone and it feels like they ran out of budget at some point. There is no voice acting in this game. It's all done by text bubbles and that's a shame, as there is tons of text here. Some voice acting would have been great as the characters do lend themselves to have voices throughout the game. So how about the gameplay? Well, you play as a survivor named Jacob Solomon, who is the leader of a group of survivors who got stranded after an asteroid hit the Earth 8 years ago and got them into a new ice age. Your robot companion named Acolyte receives a mysterious radio transmission that they found your location and will come pick you up in 30 days. You have to survive until you're found and you have to keep your group's food, water, energy, heat level and moral level in check. You can decrease the rescue days by gaining levels. Every level you gain by doing quests or discovering new locations decreases the saving timer by a couple of hours and thus making it easier to survive. You will have to hunt for food, fuel sources and materials and you do this by going out into the wild and look for houses and cars and search through them. You have to keep the fire in your safe house going, so you have to scavenge a lot of items. You can also do quests to gain access to items that make the chance of survival much better. For instance, getting a blueprint for a furnace increases the timer in your fireplace in your safe house. Now here come the good and the bad things into play. To go out in the world and look for things can be fun to do. The people in your group all have a different skill set, like cooking, building and repairing, and there's even a tech guy. Collecting items for them to upgrade your survival chance lets you roam the open world however you choose, and this is the strong point of the game. The surviving days mechanic makes you push to gain as much experience to decrease that timer, but your group is absolutely clueless without you. You have to keep the fire in your safe house burning, meaning you have to burn lots of wood or unwanted items to keep the heat level going. If not, they will all freeze to death and they will never help you to keep the fire going by themselves. So if you're far away, well, bad luck. You have to assign food to them as well. Without you they just starve. It's like they just don't have a mind of their own. I get it if they see you as their leader, but it would have been easier to have a better control over it. Events are randomly generated, so you can have a collapsed safe house ceiling in the first few days of the game. Or your safe house just gets robbed and leave people wounded. This can shift your priorities of what to do first, and this is the fun part of Impact Winter. Impact Winter has some great ideas here and the open world around you is pretty fun to explore, but they all just don't come together. The learning curve is really steep and that can be a negative point for a lot of people. The massive loading times, rather confusing user interface, music and tough item management system is definitely not for everyone. If you like games such as Don't Starve however, this can be your next game. I give this game a 6 out of 10. Did you play the game already and what's your take on it? Let me know in the comments below. If you liked the video, hit the like button and maybe even subscribe to the channel. As always, thanks for watching and see you next time.